Hi everybody. Hold on. Can't even eat Christmas. That's much easier. Okay. Walking to my little corner of the world. I'm taking a break from painting process, as you can see. My last video was basically on tidbits and paper towels. So now what I'm going to talk about is a little bit on what's happening at the school. And I want parents to, if you can pay attention a little bit, be careful about what they're teaching. And I don't mean anything more than every kid seems to think everything they do is easy, right? If they draw a picture, it's easy. If they do anything, it's easy, even though it's a sloppy, worthless, bad job all the way around, right? And they pull this in my class, and I tell them, I said, what makes this easy? Well, I did it. Really? Not one thing in here is perfect. Now, one thing in here is straight. You haven't used the ruler, you haven't been blah, 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 right? So, of course, then they look at what they've done. I said, was it easy? If it was easy, it'd be perfect. If it was easy, I would be able to distinguish between the two. That would be easy. Now, was it easy or hard? Oh, half the kids then go, it was easy. They're half going, no, it's hard. I said, okay, for the people that says it's hard, why was it hard? Well, I couldn't get the line straight. I couldn't do what I wanted. This stuff. I said, so you have to work at it, right? And they said, yeah. I said, so if you do this enough times, would you get it? Would it become easy because you're getting it closer to being correct? Yes. Now, everybody that's saying this is easy, what did you just learn? Then they'd look at their work and they said, whoa, this wasn't easy. Good. Now we're thinking. Because for some reason, we've instilled in our kids, every single one of them, the idea that everything they do is perfect and great and awesome and everything's easy. They just have to try, right? And I'm sorry, but trying doesn't cut it. Your best is only the best to you until you run into somebody who's actually doing the job, doing the industry, doing everything, and then all of a sudden your best is second. Okay? So in the world of education, in my world, when I see kids coming in and they can't use a ruler, they can't add 1 plus 1, they can't tell time on a regular analog clock, they cannot do any of these things, nothing's easy. So I expressed that to them, and the kids are going, well, I said, no, it's not easy. And I had every kid, I said, okay, I had these kids last year too, and I said, okay, everybody who folded butterflies last year, raise your hands. And of course, not the majority of kids raised their hands because I had the same kids last year I do this year. And they go, okay, now let me ask you something. When you first learned how to do it, was it easy or hard? Well, it was hard. I said, that's called learning. So whenever you're doing anything and you're trying to be better, you have to challenge yourself to make it better. If you're bored, then you're not doing it right. Right? Okay, bored to me means the kid isn't challenging himself. He expects everybody to entertain him. And he's not really accomplishing the job in the first place because his first job is to actually accomplish the goal. Now, if he's accomplished the goal and it looks great and everything else like that, then they have to challenge them. It's not up to me to challenge them harder; it's up to themselves. That self-motivation is highly important. Without self-motivation, we don't get anything. We don't get drive or anything. So, instilling a level of self-motivation to make things better, because you might think it's easy, but hold it. Was it really? No, it's not. Let's change that. It was hard. Everything's hard until you learn how to do it. And the same with telling kids that just make it fun. Hold it. Which part of learning is fun? Usually it's pretty painful. And in that sense, as I'm teaching them, I say, and they also, why would you say it's fun? I got 70% of my class here that is having a hard time. They don't think it's fun. The other 25% of the kids, or 30% of the kids, actually have an idea, but it's still, when I come around and I say this, this, and this, then it's not so fun because what they thought was perfect wasn't, or what they thought was good wasn't. What they accomplished they thought was good but wasn't. Now all of a sudden they're not so happy, are they? So I always tell kids this, that if I have the majority of kids, hold on a second here. Oh, that was tilted way off. I had a 5-gallon container on top of a cooler, and it was like doing the Leaning Tower pizza thing. And then also has a tripod on top of it. Much better than this one. I've had this one for a while and I bought it pretty inexpensive at Goodwill. I got another one at Goodwill and oh my God, look at this thing. It still had $4. It still had the plastic on it. Who does that? And the only thing it's missing is the universal mount, which I got coming in. And then of course I can use this, but this thing's wonderful. It has levels on it, the whole shot. But anyway, I digress. Okay, I get excited over the simplest things. So, by teaching the kids to really distinguish, first of all, learning is not fun. It's very, very hard. Okay. So when I tell the kids, I said, you know, the people who get the most out of this will be the kids who have to struggle the most, because they're earning the knowledge. When you think you already know everything, you're not learning anything. So when you think things are easy and they come easy to you, that's okay. But the first time you fail hard. You can't do that. So the kids they're starting to get the idea that they have to work. In my class, they have to work. They can't just like pass off something like some, you know, I don't know. Everybody says, oh, my child, you still work. No, I'm sorry, but it's not. It's not what we're supposed to be doing, not how we do it, not why we do it. And definitely, it's not easy to do it. And going back to last year, when I started hearing the kids come back in the class and they were saying, well, yeah, I went home and showed my dad, he was really cool. He says, how do you do that? So I showed him, and he couldn't get it right off. And he was, and their faces would get like this. Couldn't get it right off. And they would struggle, and I'd show them, and I was getting frustrated because I couldn't describe it right. And then all of a sudden they'd get it. And then their faces would do this. I said, what happened when that, how did you feel when that happened? She goes, I felt great, I felt awesome. I showed my parents how to do it. Well, what did they do with your butterfly? Well, they went and put it on our fridge, they went and put it on our desk, on their computer, whatever, and then they folded, and then they did it. I said, how did you feel after your parents got it, or the person that's much older than you got it, and you were the one teaching them? That was great. I said, that's fun. That's the fun part. You have to earn the fun part of anything. If you don't earn the fun, which basically comes through all the seven levels of grief, you know, you're not going to get anything out of it. So the kids are like, they have a little bit of respect moving into the idea that when I'm teaching them, they don't realize I'm teaching 360 kids. Everybody with individual learning capabilities, nobody learns the same way. But I can actually do this as a group because I claim everybody, it's hard, we're all going to learn together. Oh, okay. So then you lump them all together and you pull them all up by their bootstraps. But these are things they have never done before, so nobody can find this easy. Everything I do is hard for them, even though it's simple. Okay, using a ruler, using it as a straight edge. All these things were foreign to them when I first started. And I couldn't understand why kids had no concept of a ruler or measuring, no concept of using it as a straight edge. And then when I hear the teacher, well, we taught them last year, they know how to use fractions and stuff like that. I said, really? Then how come they can't tell me what's 5 3/4 on a ruler? They can't even show it to me. How come they can't show me, 3 7/8, or 3 3/8, or 3 3/16? Why can't they show me? That's fractions. And that's also measuring, and that's also math. So please explain this to me. Of course, I get this, well, we're not into that yet. You just told me you were. So, that's the reason why I don't claim anything's easy for these kids. It's all hard, and I want them to understand that every time they learn something, they really capture it and they do something with it. Folks, I'm rewarding that to them. I'm not just saying, oh, good job. I'm not giving them a good grade because they went over and above. I'm actually giving them stuff they can use. Now, my idea of something they can use would be sketch pads, canvases, paint, pencils, stuff like that they can use at home, because they go home and do this. And whenever I have a kid who's never done it before goes home and does this on their own because they got bored and they wanted to challenge themselves, I definitely reward that. Usually a couple sketchbooks, something they can put to use, or I teach them how to do something very specific to apply to what they're doing at home, because those are the kids who are going to take it further. The ones who don't are the ones who really didn't care anyway. Now, if I can get, say, 75% of my kids or 80% of my kids liking, enjoying it, because it's a learning process, and learning, once we learn, we will always know, and once we retain it, we'll always be able to do it, then all of a sudden these kids are just like, they're just going big guns. Right? I have kids. What's funny is this year I had kids from last year coming to my class here this year that are now in 6th grade going, you need to come over here and teach. They don't have art. They be teaching video, media arts and stuff like this on a computer. That makes me feel pretty good because it means they remember the things we did in class, and they remember these things because those were the fun things that are all hands-on. No computers, no technology. Those type of things to me are important. The more you can do away from a computer for a kid, the better. Get them off the iPhones, get them off the tablets. I don't care if you're trying to distract them. I don't care if you're trying to, here, go do that. Leave me alone for about 5 minutes. Here, you got 5 minutes on computer time. Eliminate the computer time. Make them occupy their time old school, where they have to learn something, a new skill. If they have to watch a video on it, that's fine, as long as it applies to the skill. Origami, really good attention getter, really good. It's frustrating, it's hard, but when they get it, they got it. I have kids from last year that could fold the damn rabbit. They come to my class and, hey, Mr. Bowers, look, I can still fold the rabbit. I can still fold the butterfly. That's awesome. And to give you a point of fact on that, I was told last year by all the teachers, all the art teachers, they don't teach origami. It's too hard. Now these are K through 5 and also 5th and 6th and 7th grade, I think, or up to 8th. I think that in there. They don't teach them. Well, how come? Well, it's too hard. No, it's not. So what I did last year is I was on a mission. I had all my kids, approximately 360 kids, except for the special needs. That was a little hard for them. But first through 5th. So eliminate the 1st grade. There's 3 first grades. I had them all folding. We folded close to 2,000 butterflies. And I purposely did a documentation of that, a butterfly world, what it means and why it happened and why I did it and what was so beautiful about it. But there was 2,000 butterflies approximately on on 3 displays. And the teachers were looking at this like, I said, yeah, that's exactly it. That's what happens when you do a unified skill set across the board. Everybody learns it and everybody's able to do it and everybody's able to do it well. To the point of they were challenging each other. So these kids were actually folding butterflies at lunch, breakfast, everywhere. Can I fold some butterflies? Sure, let's go for it. Then, of course, I tried to show them the rabbit. And the rabbit's a little more difficult. There's probably about 30 folds to that, maybe. And so it's still level 1 and beginner. Of course, I can't take it any further because I'm just going, yeah, okay, that's as far as I'm going to take it. But the idea that some of these folders do so much more, but the idea being teaching them how to take a difficult task and then making it fun. And what fun really means and what actually hard and easy really means. Okay, those terms are really mixed up with these kids. So ask kids, what is easy, what is hard in school? And then have them do something related to the subject and see exactly what happens. Oh, not so easy, huh? My hard thing was always art. My hard thing was always music. My hard thing was always writing. And yet again, I enjoy doing all 3. I still do a lot of poetry, music. Nobody ever hears me, but I'm a closet singer type thing. That's about it. Okay. I think I sang once on a school bus when I was a kid. And, I didn't do it after that. But for the most part, my hard times I had with the artwork has paid off now. All those lessons that I was frustrated with that I taught myself, I love now because that's what made me into the artist I am today. So when I'm dealing with these kids, it's the same exact thing. They have to understand that hard is not hard. It's all just learning capabilities and how we apply these lessons we've learned to make things easy, one, and then make you happy because you succeeded at it. And then you have to see what is the meaning of happiness in learning. Is it just learning it? Is it expressing it? Is it teaching it? So all these things that I'm doing in class are kind of foreign to these kids. And I get some teachers, well, I'm doing that. Well, if your kid was doing this, they would enjoy the subject. Second of all, they would actually have had struggled really hard to actually understand because then they get more out of it. Because you wouldn't believe how many kids last year I had in my class that literally got frustrated because they thought they knew. I had a kid say, well, I'm an artist. I said, really? What's this, this, and this? He goes, I don't know. And it was all terms. I go, well, then you're not an artist by term alone. I go, second of all, how long have you drawn? Oh, when I was real young. I said, you're 7. I said, that doesn't make you an artist. I said, I'm an artist. And that's the difference. And I'm helping you learn what you aren't versus so what you can become. That's my job. So anyway, he kind of shut down because he just, and then he got right on key with what we were doing, and he started learning an awful lot. He started to stop thinking he was so arrogant because so many people up to that point had told him he was so good at stuff. And I said, I'm sorry, but no, it's half-assed, basically. I didn't say that because we were in a grade school. I said, no, that's sloppy work. Sloppy work does not equate to being good, fun, easy, or anything. Sloppy work equates to being hard, frustrating, and if you're not frustrated because you're not getting it right, then you're wrong. Something's wrong with the way you're dealing with this. So, when I deal with things with the kids, it's about, hey, it's all got to be that way. So I think what I might do is do a butterfly folding project. Can we get into some sculpture, because I don't have anything that's a sculpture except for doing origami, which is really cool. And then, of course, watch them just go nuts with it and have fun. Because once they get it, man, they got it. That's the cool part. But anyway, this has gone on for 16 minutes too long. Now, hopefully this has been inspirational, informational. Informational, inspirational, all at the same time. Hope you guys have a great day. I'm going to go back to have my coffee, taking my break. And I might even just do a whole lot of nothing. Sit here just like this. Squirrel. Keeping out.